knew they wouldn't talk a second time in a row. We're B3 Conversations. We're back. This time we're gonna look at some possible priest specs, some talent builds for that. I did a couple of different because I liked some of the crazy stuff Jonah was saying. Is it how close is it? Is it like identical?
It's almost identical. I have Holy Nova, which I don't think you do, and I have Inner Focus, which I don't think you did.
Which one's Inner Focus?
That one.
No, I didn't think that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go with that one since we're here and talking about it.
Okay. The build is 21, 25, 5, 21 in Discipline, 25 in Holy, and 5 in Shadow.
Mine is that exact too, without being the exact same choices and talents.
So same numbers, different choices.
Different spread, yeah.
Just a little bit. It's almost identical, but not quite.
Yeah. Okay.
And I came up with this, or I filled this out because Jonah had kind of mentioned that what he was thinking, and I thought, well, that sounds cool. I'll do that. What was that?
Yeah. What I was thinking was a DPS build for a paladin or a priest.
It's like a paladin, except for with less mail armor.
Many more dresses. Except nothing, very little in the shadow tree. No shadow form, no vampiric embrace, none of that. Just DPS, mostly from your holy damaging spells, like smite and inner fire, and then smite again.
And Holy Fire.
Yeah.
Holy Nova, jump
Holy
like that.
Nova, yeah, stuff like that. I'm probably still gonna use the shadow spells, like Shadow Word Pain.
You just didn't get the improved version.
I just didn't get any of the talents for none of that stuff. The only thing in Shadow that I got was Spirit Tap, the first tier 5-point ability or talent. Spirit Tap gives you a 100% chance to gain 100% bonus to your total spirit after killing a target that yields experience.
I took that as well because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
It may not seem like it's that big a deal, but so a lot of the talents that I took, which are mirrored by what Jonah took, play heavily off your spirit. Heavily. So this build and Jonah's build are both going to require the maximum amount of spirit that you can manage, or that you can get on your character. Yeah. So anything that you can get that'll have spirit on it, you're going to want it. Any
enchants that you can get
or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, we both took out of Discipline Divine Spirit. Yes. Which increases the spirit by 17 for 30 minutes. But that's not a real high level ability, so my guess is that there'll actually be multiple ranks of it that you'll get to train that'll probably do better than that.
And
that's a buff that you put on similar to Power Word 4. Is it Power Word?
Yeah, Fortitude.
Yeah, so your fort buff and your spirit buff are amazing, and they'll really come in handy.
Just like Power Word Fortitude, there's an improved version of Divine Spirit that you get.
Where at?
You have to learn it. Once you've learned Divine Spirit, you get to find like a book or whatever it is to learn. Like Mark of the Wild and Gift of the Wild. There's the same thing for Divine Spirit, where instead of having to cast it on everyone individually, you press the button and everybody in your group gets the buff, and it lasts the same amount of time.
And it'd probably be the same as the rank that you had.
Yeah.
You just don't have to cast it on
100 times.
For other people if you're in a group for a dungeon,
or if you're in a
up
raid.
to 39 other people.
Yeah.
If you're in a big raid, one of the 40-man raids.
It does take a regent. I don't know what, but it does. I know that it does.
Now, is that for the one that you just cast on yourself, the normal one, or is that for
the improved one?
The improved one where you
regent.
Okay.
Yeah. Same way.
Cast on multiple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get to keep both spells?
Yes.
So you can have it where it's not the Regent version and then have the Regent version.
Yeah, you can have both.
Okay. Should be able to.
You
Back
can
in the
with-
day, you could have all those different. If you look in your old spell books, you would have every rank of everything that you've ever learned in there, or every rank of everything that you couldn't afford to learn.
As a trainer. Yeah. And then
Okay.
the first tier in discipline, I took Unbreakable Will. Increases the chance to resist stun, fear, silence effects by an additional 15%.
I also took that.
And then I went down and I took Improved Power Word Shield
Yep.
for a bigger bubble. Bigger bubble, you take less damage.
Well, it just increases the damage absorption of the bubble by 15%. Which doesn't seem like much, but as I recall, the bubbles were actually really good.
Yeah. And then I went over and took Martyrdom, which gives you a 100% chance to gain the clear casting effect that lasts for 6 seconds after being the victim of a critical melee or being the victim of a melee or ranged critical strike. The focused casting effect prevents you from losing cast time while taking damage, and increased resistance to interrupt effects by 20%. So basically, it's just going to keep you casting more often than when you're getting attacked.
So less interrupts and knockbacks.
Yeah.
Because the knockback on some of those is terrible.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to heal, and it's just bad.
Oh, and the good thing about this particular spec is, it's designed around, well, I believe mine is designed around high spirit and heavy crits. So you're going to want to have critical strike as high as you can. But the nice thing about this is if you are healing at all, versus being in shadow, some of the, if you were to get to the top tier of shadow and get shadow form, which is my other spec, because that's the spec I usually do is heavy shadow. Let's just talk about, I'll just throw it out there real quick. My shadow spec is usually 19-0-32, so I go 19 deep into discipline and 32 deep into shadow. Some of the things that I have taken in the past, when I was playing this the first time, I pretty much would get every single talent you could get in shadow, every one of them. I got everything. I don't think I use as much, and I thought, and looking at it this time, I thought, well, some of the things that I'll forego in shadow to pick up in discipline, I think is actually worth it. It's a lot of the same things that I picked up for my other spec. So, back to the other spec.
And then I took 3 points of Silent Resolve, which reduces the threat generated by your spells by 12%. But if you have 5, it's like 20%, I think, or 25.
Is this one?
Yeah. Is it
So
20?
I only took 2 points in that because I had other stuff that I thought was more important.
Yeah. And then jumping down, I didn't take any improved Power Word Fortitude.
I did. I took the whole thing because, like it or not, okay, if your spirit's good, if your spirit's up where you want it to be, so that all this stuff is functioning the way we think it should,
Yes.
and your crit's high, again, like we were saying, you're gonna pull aggro. Like it or not, you're gonna pull aggro.
Chances
it's
are.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
As shadow, I used to pull aggro all the time, and it wasn't that I was trying to pull aggro, but I really probably didn't. I didn't manage my damage output the way I probably should have. So there would be times when I would throw down everything I had, and all of a sudden the boss is like, "Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, you think so?" And then you're just like, "Ah!" Because you're a squishy troll priest.
Where?
Oh, and speaking of trolls, with their regeneration, that's a really good ratio to go with the high spirit and spirit tap and all that junk we were talking about. So more than likely, I toyed with being a Forsaken Shadow Priest because there's rumors about how they were PvP juggernauts once upon a time. They killed everything, and it was hard to kill them, like all the way hard. I've been trying to find some more information on that. I haven't really come up with much, but I know I've seen people actually talking about it in the chat in WoW before, so I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
So I think the way that it worked was, as he talked about the trolls, shadow priests. The way priests work is they get a special quest at level 10 that gives them a special class racial ability.
So it's 10 and what was the
20. 10 and 20.
10 and 20, and both of those give you a special, basically a spell.
Yeah. For night elves, you got a special moonfire.
It
Troll.
wasn't called Moonfire, it was called Star something.
I don't remember. I'm just.
But basically, it was almost identical to
Starfall.
Druid Starfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then trolls got shadow.
Shadow. No, they got Hex
not
of
at 10.
Weakness
At
at
10, they got Hex of Weakness, which is a really good curse. Which I didn't really, I don't think I used as much as I should have. Now that I'm wiser game player, I will, that'll be in heavy rotation.
It's basically a better curse of weakness that warlocks have, because it does the same thing, reduces the damage done by the target by more than what the warlocks have, and it reduces their healing taken.
And the thing that made undead so scary was at level 10 they got a
20.
spell.
At 20.
Well, no.
Yeah.
At level 10, they got some other weakness thing. It was the same spell without the healing reduction.
Okay. But then, so
At
you're saying
level 20, they
is
got
when
Devouring Plague.
And 20 is when the trolls got Shadow Orbs. So Shadow Orbs basically was lightning shield that the shaman get, but you had these 3 dark blue fiery orbs that would circle around you, and then they would do damage just like lightning shield did. But what he's talking about is Devouring Plague.
Yes.
And that's what made the undead such scary.
It was just a really
high
badass dot.
that returned health to you as it did damage.
It was essentially an overtuned vampiric embrace.
No, it was a dot.
No, yeah, because think about it, a vampiric embrace with that.
Yeah, I was thinking that exact thing. If you
you would be healing so much.
Oh yeah, dude, your healing is ginormous then. And then if you were smart and picked up some of these over here, so you had better shields and better fortitude, and inner fire, because I did the inner fire on both of my specs, because dude, anything that gets you more armor gets you
More
better
survivability.
damage mitigation.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. And so anyways, back to...
so where did you leave off, John?
Remember, I took Inner Focus.
I did not take inner focus.
It's an activated ability. When activated, reduces the mana cost of your next spell by 100% and increases the critical effect chance by 25% if it is capable of a critical effect.
I did consider that one. I looked at that one and thought, I should get that, but then I didn't have the points.
Yeah.
Because I went too deep into fortitude.
Yeah. My thought was either on...
Because that's where we differed. You did nothing in fortitude, put 1 extra point in silent resolve, and then the 1 point in inner focus, whereas I took 2 in fortitude and only put 2
in silent resolve. Yes. Yeah. My thought process behind that was mana free costing either Mind Blast or Holy Fire, both of which are heavy hitting damaging abilities. And if they do 25% increased...
Holy Fire can crit. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Should be able to.
If they can crit, they will, more than likely, which will make them even more better.
Much more better.
Yeah. And then I also took Meditation, allows 15% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting,
I took that as well.
which I believe will stack with the Spirit tab.
Which is why I took it.
For the duration, your mana regeneration will continue at 50% while casting for 15 seconds. So if they do stack, 65% of your mana regeneration will continue while you're casting other spells. That's a lot.
That's quite a bit, yeah.
There's a TV there.
I see that. Or at least I feel it.
Yeah. As mentioned earlier, I also have improved inner fire, which increases the armor bonus of your inner fire spell by 30%.
And inner fire, it was a buff.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was a long buff or if it was a short buff. I don't remember if it was like a 10-minute buff or if it was like a 30-minute buff or if it was like a 60-minute buff.
I think it was one of the shorter
I
ones.
think it was too. I think it was one of those ones that was kind of a pain in the
You
ass.
had to
If
manage
you weren't paying
it a lot.
attention, it went away, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're thinking, "Dude, why am I
Why
dying?"
am I dying so much?
I wasn't. Oh,
My armor's nothing. Again.
Yeah. And then what else in?
The last thing I took
Yes.
in discipline was divine spirit, the spirit
buff.
Yeah. Moving over to holy, what I took was all 3 in improved renew. For
I did not take that.
renew is a really strong heal over time spell.
It's actually one of the best ones.
Yeah.
I think it's one. It used to be one of the best ones in the game.
If it's not, the
I
druids
believe-
have the
I
best
believe.
one in the game. I don't know.
I think renew. I think if you had this, if you had the improved renew, I want to say it was actually better than the
Druids.
Than the druids. I
I
don't
don't
want to
know.
swear to it though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm pretty confident. Everybody was like, "Screw renew."
Yeah, and nobody's going to be upset that they got a renew on them.
No, nobody.
And I also took all 5 in holy specialization, which increases the critical effect chance of your holy spells by 5%.
Yep, I took that as well.
Yeah, that one is really good.
That one, it only makes sense, especially with this hybrid build that we got going here, because you're going to be utilizing, when you're doing damage, you're going to be utilizing holy fire and some of those,
Yeah.
which are holy
damage
spells. So
yeah.
you want those to be better.
Yeah.
I choose to believe.
And if you ever need to heal, it's got an increased chance to critically heal yourself. That's always good.
Exactly.
Then I went down and took Divine Fury, which reduces the cast time of your Smite, Holy Fire, Heal, and Greater Heal spells by half a second.
That's if you take all 5 of them.
Yes.
And I did the same thing. I went 5 deep because each point gets you 1/10 of it.
Yeah.
So you got to get half a what is it? Half a second. You
Yeah.
got to get knock off half a second of your cast time. You got to get all 5 of them. But I did that because half a second may not seem like much, but
it actually is.
I think cumulatively it'll add up over an
fight.
encounter.
Yeah.
And you'll be better off with it.
Yeah, I agree. And then I went down and I took Holy Nova, which gives you another spell, another attack.
Which is a good one because it's an AoE
Yeah.
that both heals and damages.
Yes.
So friendly characters, yourself included, will get healed off of it. Aggro characters or NPCs will take damage off of it.
Yeah. Holy Nova generates 0 threat, so you could just spam it. You wouldn't be doing as
You wouldn't be doing as much damage,
No.
but
And
you'd be getting some healing.
much. I think it costs a lot too.
And I think it's got a really high mana cost.
Yeah. So spamming it would be expensive, but
in an emergency, if you're trying to do some damage and not get dead,
yeah.
you could pop renew your improved renew,
Yes.
and then Holy Nova a little bit, and bam, you might be able to survive.
Yeah.
Like maybe that might be a good deal where if your forbearance, like your shield took.
Yeah.
Your power word shield took too much damage and got knocked off before your forbearance went away.
Yeah.
Which forbearance is a weird little debuff that you get from certain abilities, including some of the paladin shields and junk like that.
Yeah.
And they can't be shielded again while they have forbearance, and if you don't know.
Yeah.
And that might be a good way to not get dead if your shield gets knocked off due to high damage and you're dying,
Yeah.
you know. But
I also took
just a maybe.
2 points in Blessed Recovery.
I took all 3 in that instead of the Holy Nova, instead of one
Yeah.
Holy Nova.
I decided that Holy Nova would be worth a little bit of less. After being struck by a melee or ranged critical hit, heal for 16% of the damage taken over 6 seconds.
I just figured that did you get, yours is at 25%, is it?
16. Did I say 25?
No, I might have just been reading mine as you were going. But I got to 25%, and my thought was simply, if your shield does get knocked off and you get a crit, bam, free
Free healing.
auto, free heal over time.
Yeah.
So
And
the Holy Nova Jonah's probably right about that. That's probably totally worth it. And the Holy Nova is on the 3rd tier. So my guess is there'll be 4 to 6 ranks of that, maybe more.
Probably,
by the time you
yeah.
get to max level, which means obviously higher damage, higher healing, and all that nonsense.
Jumping down from there, I took.
You didn't take inspiration?
No.
So I took on that 3rd tier. I took inspiration, which increases your target's armor by 25% for 15 seconds after getting a critical effect from your flash, heal, greater heal, or prayer of healing spells. I did that because whether you're healing in a group or you're healing yourself,
Yeah.
25% extra armor for 15 seconds,
That's a lot.
it's not a bad thing. That's why I took it. Because
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm thinking, as I always think, what is going to keep me from being dead the most?
Yeah. I didn't take that because I have 3 in renew and improved renew.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's,
where-
where my 3 went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Searing Light?
Yeah. I took both points in Searing Light.
Me too.
Increases the damage of your Smite and Holy Fire spells by 10%,
Which couples with that other one, what's it?
the critical strike.
Increases the critical strike effect chance, so
Yeah.
bam.
Higher base damage equals higher crits.
That's it.
Yeah. I also took 2 in Holy Reach,
So did I.
increasing the range of your Smite, Holy Fire spells, and the radius of your Prayer of Healing and Holy Nova spells by 20%.
I took that too.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Being further away from the kill box is always nice. And then I took 5 points in Spiritual Guidance, which increases its spell damage and healing by up to 25% of your total spirit, which having a high amount of spirit is where most of the damage is going to come from because of this. That paired with Divine Spirit, and after you kill something with Spirit Tap, having double your total spirit is potentially going to double your damage.
Yeah, so essentially, for a short window, after you kill a creature that gives you experience or a player that gives you honor,
Yeah.
you'll get Spirit Tap, and for that little window, because of the talents, and I took the same talent, because of these talents, it would seem that your burst damage in that window would be high.
Yeah.
Don't know, but I think it'd be super high. And I believe this would still be an effective healing spec too. I
Should
think
be,
this would work
yeah.
out just fine for healing.
Yeah. You could always just move a few things around to get like improved healing, which reduces the mana cost of lesser heal, and greater heal spells by up to 15% at 3 points,
Which one was that?
that one. If you decided you needed that, if you're going to be healing more often anyway, then costing less is always good.
Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
you might not need it with as high a spirit as this build gets.
Yeah, if
Your mana regen might just be bonkers.
yeah, it could be really good. I remember my troll having Spirit Tap, and you could visibly watch your mana grow back. You know, it replenish
Yeah.
your mana bar.
During the fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the fights, and once, because Spirit Tap would come up, boom, that thing's just going woo, even though you're spending still, it's still growing.
Yeah.
So, and then again, like we said, if you work hard enough, or if you're lucky enough to get the right drops and have high spirit on stuff, on your equipment, and maybe some enchants, your spirit could be high enough that your mana regen would just be out of control. In
Yeah.
which case,
You win.
mitigating high mana usage won't be an issue. Or
Yeah.
be less of an
It would
issue.
be less of an issue for sure.
So,
That's what I got.
and I discussed what little differences I had, which was there's literally very little
Yeah.
differences.
2-3
Um,
points difference.
From the
Yeah.
sound of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a couple points in each tree.
Yeah.
Um,
We both have the exact same in Shadow,
yeah.
and the rest is so close they might as well be the same.
And then Elijah did an almost entirely disciplined build.
Yes, I went 33, 0, 18. And my purpose is I decided to forego holy because I didn't want to spend any time healing. I'd rather do all the damage from the discipline and some of shadow. So pretty much my build goes exactly the same as Jonah starts off in discipline. The 5 in the top tier, or the bottom tier.
Unbreakable will.
I filled all of the second row.
Okay.
Okay.
I have the same 2 talents next. Inner focus and
Meditation.
yep. Now where ours differs is I do have improved inner fire. I don't have that, but I do have improved mana burn. And then
I
from,
thought about improved mana burn.
I did too.
and then from there you follow down from
And what that does is mana burn, you basically, it's an attack. I don't know if it does much damage. I don't
it
think
does a little damage, but it's more towards
But it just basically depletes an enemy's mana pool.
Wow.
Which, if you're a caster, that's a problem.
and then I go down to what's that?
Did you take mental strength? Increases your maximum mana.
Yep, I put all 5 into
Kinda
that.
wanted
I
that.
really wanted that too.
Yep. I went all into that and the one next to it.
Divine Spirit.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
And then I ignored that one.
Force of will.
Yes.
And, you
And then I went
down to
there.
Power infusion.
Yep.
I also, if
Really, I'm surprised that you didn't take that one. Force of will. It increases your spell damage by, well, it would have been a total of 5% and a critical strike chance of your offensive spells by
again 5%.
5.
If to get that, I would have had to sacrifice someplace else.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose.
No, I get it.
I suppose I could sacrifice the reduced threat since I am planning on PvPing and put it there,
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
which would probably make sense.
Or you could drop improved Mind Blast, which all that does is reduce the cooldown by.
My thought process was to get the reduced threat while you're leveling up and do it.
No, that totally makes sense.
That
And
makes
then
sense.
I'll
Yeah.
probably switch it to probably that focused will.
Yeah. Okay.
And then from there, 0 in holy, so I did nothing in holy, so
Yeah,
no healing,
okay.
no nothing. And then I went spirit tap, all 5 points. Improved power word,
Shadow Word Pain.
yes, improved shadow word pain. And then,
Shadow Affinity.
yep, with improved psychic scream.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Improved Mind Blast.
yep, improved mind blast and improved mind flay.
That's just Mind
Or,
Blast.
yeah, with mind flay.
And that's all you got?
That's all I had. And my thought process is, well, if I
You didn't go
ever...
any deeper than that?
No.
No, he went too far in discipline to go any further.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You went super
He
deep
went
in
all the
discipline.
way to
All
the
right.
bottom.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
My shadow spec is 19,032. So I went 19 points deep in what the heck is that? Discipline, and then 32 deep in shadow. And I took almost the same abilities in discipline, but I did not take what's that, martyrdom, and I did not take divine spirit, and I think that's it. I think those are the only 2 I didn't take.
Yeah.
So I took
Spirit Tap.
Spirit Tap and Blackout, but the more I look at it, the more I think, well, Blackout's kind of a... I mean, when you're leveling, that 10% chance of something being stunned's not the end of the world. That's kind of a cool deal.
Yeah.
And it will save your life.
It can. I was going to say it can save your character's life. And so on the second tier, I took Shadow Affinity because it reduces threat generated by shadow damage, shadow spells. Because, well,
As a shadow
as I
burst.
recall, shadow generally generated a lot of threat, and so if you can reduce that, that's jamming. I also took improved Shadow Word Pain because Shadow Word Pain was one of my it's one of your main rotation abilities. At least I used it in constant rotation, kept it up as much as I could without being a dummy. Now, I didn't take Shadow Focus on that tier or nothing. I didn't take anything off the next tier. In fact, I didn't take anything until 4th tier, where I grabbed Shadow Reach, which increases the range of your shadow damage spells, which is good. That way you can stay further away from the kill box. As well as Shadow Weaving, which just makes it so that any Anybody that you've damaged with a shadow spell has a 100% chance of being susceptible to shadow damage. I took Vampiric Embrace because Vampiric Embrace, it used to be a deal where you let me think. I want to say it used to be like a weird little 5-minute buff. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, it afflicts your target.
No.
No. It was part of the rotation. You threw it on someone.
It seemed to me you could keep it up. Oh, maybe it had a long cooldown. Doesn't say here what the cooldown is. And I took improved shadow or improved vampiric embrace, which increased the amount healed. And what vampiric embrace basically meant that 20% of all shadow damage done would be a heal, like a heal over time kind of.
Yeah.
For everybody in your group, yourself included. And the improved just makes it 30% instead of 20%. Then I took darkness, increases shadow damage spells, shadow spell damage by 10%, and I went all the way to shadow form. There's a lot of good talents in here I didn't get. Like I didn't get Mind Flay, which is actually a really good one. It's sort of a crowd control damage spell, channeled spell, that will slow an enemy while you're attacking them. And if you've got Vampiric Embrace on them, it does quite a bit of damage, as I recall. Maybe not that much, but it reduces their movement speed by 50%. So that one's a decent one. Races? Have we talked about races?
A little, not much. So the races we talked about were trolls, undead, dwarves, human,
Night elves.
night elves,
That's it.
and that's it.
That's it. That's all of them.
Yeah. That's all the ones that can be priests.
During
Classic.
original. Wow. And I think we did come up with something for their racials and some of the other abilities.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that already.
That'll pop on or had been popped on, and you should just ignore me now. I don't know. What else is there? Talked about the races. I think that's it.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's all.
we're done. This is B3 Conversations. Like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like,
Don't.
whatever.
Just, whatever.
You can downvote the shit out of us, and remember, we are Taliesin and Ebertel.
No, more B3 Conversations. And
I'm Talon.
Elijah.
Jonah.
And we're signing off.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.